Don't we all want to be happy? We know that there's one man who is considered, at least according to neuroscience, the happiest person in the world. His name is Matthieu. He's an international best-selling author, a photographer, a writer. He got his PhD in France, a French man, moved to Asia and became a monk. Now, what do monks do? They spend much of their time meditating, being in the moment, paying attention, being conscious. Ricard did that until researchers of the University of Wisconsin discovered him and were interested in his brain activity. They asked him to participate in a 12-year-long brain study, which is a quite significant time frame for a study like this. As he was then hooked up to 256 sensors, those were measuring his brain waves. What researchers found that what was really unique, it's actually never been reported in neuroscience before, was the unusual level of gamma waves. These gamma waves are responsible for attention, memory, learning, consciousness. What researchers also found, there was an excessive activity in his left prefrontal cortex, which allowed a large capacity for happiness. He also was able, with the meditation, it was actually meditation on compassion, to shrink his amygdala. The amygdala is a little almond-shaped bundle of neurons. Maybe in psychology you have heard of the fight or flight mechanism. We needed to run away from our predators or fight, and therefore it's normal that we experience fear as human beings. But the problem is, over a longer period of time, then that can lead to higher levels of stress. Now, this is one study. How about more proof? We need more evidence, I think, in especially the Western world, where I come from originally, in Germany. We need this kind of evidence. In Thailand, where I live, people don't need that proof. They experience it and then they know. So maybe I would say just encourage, experience it, and then you probably see the effects already. But there are many studies that prove that meditation helps you to concentrate better, helps you for mental clarity, be more objective, be more tolerant. There's also studies that have associated meditation with emotional intelligence, because as you become more aware of your thoughts, you understand yourself better, you can manage those thoughts better, become more calm, at peace. And that also makes you a better person, because people who are just so obsessed with themselves, they also don't have the energy left to actually focus on giving back to others or just paying attention to others. You may say, how can I become as happy as Ricard? He actually doesn't even like to be called the happiest man in the world, and I think the reason for this is also because he seems to be a very humble man. He suggested that it's important to focus more on other people than on yourself, that we can do helping other people, being benevolent, being just a good listener, being there, being attentive. That also helps you to focus more on the outside instead of only being so self-involved, which is often the critical thinking about your ability, where you should be, what you have not done well. And especially high achievers, I talk a bit more about those in other videos. They are very observing. That can be good to have that self-awareness, but the problem is if it's only focused on me, that attitude can be very tiring. What Ricard also suggested was to meditate on compassion. If you say, I cannot meditate for hours, this is just too much. Maybe you just want to sit down for 5 minutes, start with that. Then you can see, okay, if I can do it and it makes me feel good, I get that state or into that state where I feel at peace. You can extend that to another 10 minutes. You could start in the morning, sometime where it's not busy around you, and that gives you a great start into the day. I would also recommend that whenever you're free, whenever you have time, whenever you're not busy, and you may say, I'm super busy, as I said, I talk about high achievers, and those people think that they're always busy. You have many, many moments during your everyday life where you're not busy. Maybe you're walking somewhere, maybe you're sitting in your car, maybe you're waiting for someone. Even at work, while you're working, it's actually important to step out sometimes and say, okay, what is going on in my head now? Am I in the moment? Am I fully conscious? So try to see that you practice those moments of silence when it doesn't have to be silent outside, but when you try to have it silent inside of your head. Don't force yourself. I know a lot of people saying, okay, I cannot meditate, I cannot do it, I'm not good at this. And that, of course, makes this a rather stressful experience. So we usually say, observe your thoughts, And as you notice a thought comes up, don't try to forcefully push it away, but you say, okay, oh, okay, there was a thought. Oh, okay, there was a thought. And then you bring your mind back, your focus back. Maybe you want to extend that then at some point. But I think it's important that if we have these many moments during our everyday life, then that adds up already to a long time of meditation, actually. And so we should be meditating at any time, I think. I today looked at trees. I looked at insects. I looked at my little dog, Achi, the street dog, actually, that doesn't even, I think, always enjoy to be with me. That makes me happy. You don't need to interpret the situation. You don't need to say, oh, this is a happy moment, or now I should be happy. Just be. And if you want more advice on how to understand your mind, your emotions, and see how that affects your behavior and how you can become more successful and happier understanding yourself, then follow me. It would be also super nice because I just started this channel, so every subscriber and every like helps to get these messages out to the public.